What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing a sky replacement in Photoshop. So I'm going to be showing you guys on how to change a boring sky like this to something like this. And yeah, so let's just go ahead and get started on that and jump right into Photoshop. So now that we're in Photoshop and you have the photo that you want to replace the sky with, go ahead and get the next photo that you want to use and just drag that into Photoshop. So once you have the photo that you want to use in Photoshop to replace the sky with, so once you have your sky in Photoshop, go ahead and take that photo, drag it over to the photo you want to replace the sky with, drag it in there, just let it drop, get it kind of centered on how you kind of want it, and then go back to the original photo and hit Command J to duplicate it, or just go down or drag the layer down to the duplicate layer down the bottom right near the trash can. I personally like to use Command J. It's just way faster shortcut. Then take that copy layer, bring it to the top, and then, alright, so next what you want to do, you want to hit L on your keyboard. That's going to bring up the polygonal lasso tool, or just go over to the side, bring out the little drop down arrow thing for it, and then just hit the polygonal lasso tool right there. And then once you have the tool selected, go ahead and hold shift, and once you get to the horizon, just take it and drag it all the way across like that. It's just gonna make it a straight horizontal line, and just bring it to the top around the photo like so, and then just connect the lines. So after you have that selected, go ahead and hit Shift Command I. That's going to invert the selection, and then click the layer mask button down the bottom right down here, and then that's just going to get rid of the sky fully. So after you create the layer mask, you're going to see that the original sky is gone, and now that the new sky is in the photo. And so what we want to do is zoom in with, this is what I like to personally do. I always zoom in a little bit, and then that brings up the eraser tool, and then I like to go into the eraser settings, make sure my hardness is around 50, 55, around there. Just that way it's like a smoother erasing line instead of like a harsh line, because you see how it's like super harsh on the horizon. We're going to go ahead and get rid of that. Also make sure that your color selection is white instead of black, because if it's black, it's going to bring back the original sky. If it's white, it's going to help delete it. And make sure that the layer mask is selected, so that way if you do mess up and you need to go back, just hit Command Z or Control Z, whatever system you're on, and it's going to make it a whole lot easier. And if you need to bring stuff back in, just hit X on the keyboard, and that's going to switch the colors, flip them, so that way if it's black, you could bring back some detail that you need. Or if you want to get rid of more stuff, just keep it as white. So what we're going to do is go on the horizon and do like a smooth little drag across the screen, and just make it look like it's more realistic with the horizon and all that, because it is a little bit different color. And then once you get all that done, and now that all of that is erased, go ahead and zoom in a little bit to the photo just to make sure you didn't mess up any spots. And I did a little bit faded on the little platform over here where like there's extra land. Go ahead and hit X on the keyboard, and then make that black, and then just go over that very slightly and I'll bring back in the detail for that, and then just clean up a little bit and it should be all good. So what I'm going to do now is just going to clean up a little bit of details. There's a little bit of a marine layer in this photo still that I want to get rid of, and yeah, I'm just going to clean it up a little bit until like the sky is perfect the way I like it. So now that we're all done getting the sky out of the original photo, we're going to go ahead and go to the sky photo that we want to use as the sky. Go ahead and select it, hit Command or Control T on the keyboard, and then right click on the photo and hit flip horizontal. And then just drag that around till you find a good spot for it, which I kind of like. Let's see. I kind of like it right about there, just because the sun is kind of matching with the horizon a little bit, and it kind of helps out with it. But let's see. There we go. Kind of like about there actually. So the reason why we took the photo and flipped it was because we needed to have the sun coming in from the side that the sun is coming in on the original photo. So I just felt like it made more sense to do it that way, obviously, because you're not going to have the sun come from the right side and have lighting on the left. It doesn't make any sense, so that's why we flipped it. The next what you want to do, you want to go ahead and hit adjustments, go ahead to selective color, and just color grade this thing until it all matches. So this does take a little bit of time. I'm just going to go through this part because I'm sure you guys just want to see like the process within it. So this part does take a little bit of time. I usually just like go across through the cyan, magenta, and yellow, and like just mess around with it until I find something that looks good. Usually in my photos I like a little bit more vibrance, and just more orangish tones and like some blues in it, so that's what we're gonna try to do. So now we got all the colors on the selective color adjustment done. Go ahead and go back to the adjustments tab and then hit color balance. And from there, we're going to be doing slight adjustments with the midtones, highlights, and shadows. And this is basically personal preference. As long as you color grade it correctly, it should work. Just make sure it all matches with everything. And also make sure all your adjustment layers for this type of editing is at the top of all the layers or the images below, because we're going to want to color grade everything below that. So once again, I'm just going to speed through this and just do the work that I need to do to color grade it. Alright, so I'm done with that. So now that we're done doing color balance, I like to click on the eye icon on the color balance layer and just make sure the color grading is correct on it. It just takes a little bit of time to get it right, but I feel like I got this one down pretty well on that first try, honestly, because sometimes I have to go back and just tweak it a little bit more to get it precise. But I think I did a great job on this one, doing it that quick. So now that we're done with the color balance, next we're going to go into the adjustments tab again and hit curves. And that's going to bring up the tone curve, and we're just going to basically do an S curve. That's what I like to do in these type of photos if I'm doing a sky replacement, because it helps give that contrast. Even though there's a little bit of contrast in it already, I like to add a little bit more contrast to it and bring some more brightness into it. It's just a lot easier to me doing it that way with the curves than it is doing with the brightness, exposure, all this other stuff, because you could do it all within the curve. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to bring it down slightly on the shadows, and then in the midtones, I'm going to bring it up a little bit more, just that way it gets a little bit more lighting into it. And then with the highlights, bring up a little bit and just tweak around with the curves and just see what you like the most. I usually do S curves because it's a lot easier. And all right, so my recording stopped. That's great. I had no idea. I was done with the video and everything. So once you guys get done with the tone curve, go through the color balance and select this color and just touch up on those things. Make sure it's all good. The color grading's right on how you want it exactly. And just touch up on the original photo if you need to get rid of the sky more. Just if you miss any spots or anything like that, just touch up on that. And once you're done with that, go ahead and hit File, hit Export As, and then it's going to pop up a window that brings up the photo and like all these details and stuff like that. And if it says PNG, go ahead and hit the drop down arrow, change that to JPEG, the second option on that. I usually keep the resolution the same, just exactly how it is, how it says. And where it says resample, I keep it as bicubic automatic. It should be the default option. If it's not, go ahead and click that drop down arrow and click that option. I just keep it at that because it does everything automatic, and it's just 10 times easier for me to do that. And then once you're done with that, hit export, save it anywhere you want to save it, within your files, wherever you're saving it at. And that's it. So now that we're done, here's the before and here's the after. I like the after a lot more because it's more detail in the sky, obviously, with more clouds, better sunset, or makes it a better sunset with better clouds. And yeah, just replacing that boring sky with this one, I just like it a lot more. And if you have a boring sky that you want to replace with the sky you already have, that's how you do it. I know there's other ways to do this, but this is just the easiest and fastest way that I know how. For me personally, I'm sure there's different ways that other people do it that is faster for them. But yeah, if you guys did like this video, be sure to leave a like, comment down below, and let me know if you're still having trouble or anything like that with it. Let me know if there's anything that you guys need help with. I'll be more than happy to help in the comments below. Also, I upload every Saturday at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so if you're new, go ahead and hit that subscribe button with bell notifications turned on, so that way you won't miss a single video. Other than that, guys, that's going to be it for this video. Keep creating, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Can't stand you, you can't stand me. Funny, we were like family, but now you're far away, and I gotta say thank God we are history. But you and me, baby, we got history. Thought it was meant to be, but now I think that I see